Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ready Steady Play, where we've just travelled into the present of Castle Von Loghan, which is not looking so great.
It is a crap hole. An utter crap hole.
It actually looks like...
An apocalypse.
I was going to say Las Vegas. Certain areas of Las Vegas.
Oh, that's better. I was going to say that looks a little bit like home. It was on fire.
So here we would be hunting down Queen Katerina.
Yes.
Katerina. And then whatever the outcome of that would be, we would be then hunting Augustus von Loghan. Unfortunately, due to
Temporal
displacement,
Yes.
not respecting the temporal prime directive, we have messed up with time, and unfortunately we've run out of it.
We screwed up the past and look at the present! Was my beard this long when we started? I feel like...
Well, what happened was actually, while we were traveling through time, your beard got really, really, really long,
Right.
and then it went grey, and then it returned to its previous form.
My face feels weird.
For a little while there, I was a baby.
You still are.
That would be really funny.
Hang on a minute.
If I was like physically in baby form, but with the mental capacity of myself in the far future.
It would be the complete inverse of reality. But hang on. So I got old, you got young. Ben just stayed the same?
Yep, for some reason Ben exists outside the normal time continuum.
He's immune to time.
Immune to the passage of
Are
time.
you immortal?
Yeah, I'm transcendent.
Ah, crap. That
So-
means I age.
Now, having managed to realign ourselves slightly with the normal time continuum, we've in fact come back into the final thoughts of this series instead of wherever we left off.
There were wizards and a tentacle. I got tentacled!
But if you want to have a go at wrestling the regular time continuum and finding out what happens in the present and wherever time takes you next, then by all means, please do check out the Kickstarter campaign for Castle Von Loghan. In the meantime, we're going to talk a bit about our experiences playing the game so far and what we think of what is happening here in this moment in time.
Dark and terrible present.
But I think we are progressed about halfway, because we're on card 17. There's about 30 cards in this particular story mode.
And I have taken the scalps of two of the
4 main baddies. There will be 10 of these story decks in the final retail version of this game, I've been informed. I've also been informed that as you travel through the different boards and periods in time, the items and the monsters, the effects on them will change, and that you will be able to have different things, but the designer Paul told me he had a very clever way of implementing it that didn't involve searching through decks of cards all the time to find the replacement cards. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure there will be more information about that, perhaps if you back the Kickstarter or something like that. However, before we get that far ahead, let's talk just a little bit about this prototype.
So, Vigafar, definitely my favourite character. By far.
Well, there were 3 characters we didn't play with. You've got
you can-
Hill the Medic, who heals the group's HP. We've got Arvius the Scientist, who gives everybody energy spheres.
He's a robot.
He's a robot with no emotions. And then we've got Forzental, the Tactician.
But is it
He can
Forzental?
block the summon of one enemy except boss enemies, so he can just reduce the number of enemies you would fight.
What?
I maintain.
Surely she's better in every case.
Vigafar! No?
What, heal the group for 3
At any time, or negate 2 loss of HP.
Well, she can repair 3 damage as opposed to stop losing 2. That's the whole point.
That's way better, because that you can just do that after losing 2.
I can't argue with that.
I mean, I could argue with it if it does 6 damage and he only blocks 2.
So maybe there would
The
be like
Butlers did
more
6.
personalised decks, because that would offset. Because at the moment, the only difference in the characters is this ability.
And their names and backstories and call signs, Ben?
Yeah. I mean...
But mechanically...
God, it's almost like you've not invested any time into your character whatsoever. I mean, seriously, guys, what's wrong with you?
Where's my pooch?
I've
What happened to my pooch?
I have learned an instrument with this guy. I've connected on a deep, mystical level, not with a goddamn dog.
Yeah, all he has connected with his character on a level we didn't think possible.
Yep, I'm enjoying this.
So I do believe all of the combat decks for all the characters are currently the same, although Paul did tell me that there are cards in the story mode that as you unlock them, upgrade your combat cards in your deck. So I don't know, we didn't find any, but I don't know if that's a feature that has not yet been implemented in the prototype of the game.
I'm keeping this.
I'm going to count.
You're going to count. So just to look at the present board here for a minute, it is different in the sense that the layout is different, but it is functionally the same as the board we were using. There is a third board. Can I have it?
It does say when we transported, find the area closest to where you're on, so the grounds do change. So, for example, there wasn't this bit at the back on the medieval scope. That was just the grounds. So there is a certain amount, like these bits of burnt out husks, but clearly it's meant to have been the same sort of area, maybe even the same building through time, although the basketball court makes me laugh.
And were we to travel to the future, or what is also called the anomaly in this prototype version, there is, in fact, a sort of a more significant change to the nature of the board, which is the red rooms are actually underground, which is essentially a separate section of the board that has to be traveled to through elevators.
Cool.
Presumably you would have to go underground to find the final boss there.
I love that each outline has been like some terrible thing, whereas that's still the same as the one below it. So the anomaly is quite literally, we've ripped a hole in this area, and all three.
Yeah, so all of these boards have this same sort of background state here of the city burning.
So I think
it's pretty cool.
I think
It's all in the same place, isn't it?
Yeah, traveling through time. We're not moving through space. It's just stay where you are.
It's all the same castle, Castle Von Loghan, which is Augustus Von Loghan, who is who we're hunting.
I've just thought, if you graffitied the statues, do you reckon that's why we couldn't destroy the rod? Is because it's in the future and it's some kind of time paradox? Like if you did graffiti,
create
the
a
old
time
castle.
paradox. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah, they're the exact same. So,
to be honest, I'm interested in what this helicopter does. And these dinosaur bones keep showing up, like mammoth, Diplodocus, I think, and there was another one further down. So I don't know. I've kind of got an image of him riding a dinosaur.
well, there's obviously two modes. There's the story mode and the exploration mode, which doesn't feature the story deck that we were looking at, but features these random events and has you killing monsters for data tokens, or you keep all of the monsters, and then whoever has killed the most at the end is sort of the overall winner. And there are some bleed across of these two modes in the form of items that allow you to steal energy, which is kind of pointless in the story mode.
A little bit.
But we didn't seem to have too many problems. We were collaborating fairly effectively, I think.
I think we were a pretty damn good team.
We were probably too communicative.
It
It just became too easy. We
Well, obviously, it's only because you're using that shield incorrectly the entire time.
That's true. But even so, it would have just,
to be honest,
a few damage.
I love the fact is like the prince came out. I was like, I am the prince. I am this fantastic thing. It's like I've got a magic box of doom. Welcome to Fable 2.
Yeah, what did you have? You had the energy sphere attack.
Yep.
And this is just like, blap!
Yep. Do up to 10 damage. His exact health.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised it has a thing because the negate one says you can't use it against a boss. I'm kind of surprised that didn't say you can't use it against a boss. But I just love the idea if he came in all regal like, I am this. Boom.
Right,
You're
so
dead.
this is like, negate the attack of a single enemy.
Yep.
So one of the things we weren't doing was when we were playing the priority 2 cards from our hands, I was wondering if you're supposed to maybe assign them to the weapons with a different combat power on them.
What do you mean?
Well, like when we played a hit, I wasn't sure if you were supposed to declare which weapon you hit with
Okay.
to sort of. But then I was thinking about it, and I wasn't sure if that would have
Well, we
made
did,
any
but-
difference anyway.
I
We
thought
did.
that when I first saw this, I thought there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 were what corresponded to the priorities.
No,
No,
these are
it's
just your
just
4
backpack
slots.
bits.
Yeah, just to show you've got the 4 items you can hold down there.
To be honest, Mike, we did sort of say which weapon we were attacking with on the pure basis of.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
multiplies
I don't know if maybe, but that's sort of besides the point. The game is
I'm Batman.
very heavily themed and very rich in story. All of these, if you read the lore, and I did put up a lore thing at the beginning of this series as well, sort of explaining what was going on, so you have some idea about the backstory, and it's very deep and it's very rich. and these characters are very rich as well, and I really like that. There's a lot of cool stuff here to get immersed in, and I think as you were to acquire more random events or more cards or more story stuff, I think you could get really invested. I know that Paul was talking about having a secret sort of character arc deck as well that's your own personal objectives that you have to realize by going to different parts of the castle and being a bit manipulative. A bit like the sort of insanity cards from Mansions of Madness or something like that.
It would be cool if like some of the story cards had really random options on it, but some of us like would know about them as like a secret kind of like, aha, you know that this means that.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that hint was about the prince, though, because that didn't seem to come up.
The prince's heel? Yeah, the child pointing at the heel, that didn't seem to come up. Maybe we just missed it.
Yeah, maybe.
There's probably some deep clue there. That
Don't attack him with a sphere attack, a negasphere attack. It will be boring.
Well, it was fun.
Energy sphere attack.
I enjoyed destroying him entirely.
You did point out, and I'm not sure if this made it into the final cut of the series, but that there was too many energy spheres.
Yes.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I ended the game with 89.
Too many energy sets. I agree with
I don't know about too many energy, but there's just times where it looks like you go from almost nothing to holy crap.
you.
I don't know. I felt I very quickly peaked into a level of energy spheres where I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I never again
We
descended into the... Yeah, well, it might have been because of these Lithium weapons.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance you would just progress through the whole game without them.
Well,
Yeah, I
there's
didn't
five-
have one.
there's
I
five
didn't
of
have
them.
anything.
You spent the entire game with a shield in one hand, which, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of it, you just got a spiked shield there, but I don't think we got to the point of treasure hunting, and then after that I was just like, I want to find the hammer.
There was, apart from that, there wasn't much more treasure to go for, but
No.
with something like, any kind of slider should have like a reason to go down. Like the health track works because there was a point where that like
We
went
were
quite
nearly
low,
screwed.
but what's the point of a slider if we're never at risk of being near zero?
Would you think that there should have... I mean,
Why does it go up to like
99?
99? Like,
Here's the
Well,
thing
I
I
had
think.
89, so I was almost capping out the whole slider.
This is what I'm thinking, though. Some of the earlier monsters were minus to your energy. I think on this next level and then the level afterwards, those minuses must get pretty big.
But the thing is, the monsters we were fighting were not really going to change outside of the boss monsters that appeared. Now, there are certainly two more monster types in this red deck that we didn't see. For example, the Ghost Maid, but she does not impact the spheres at all.
No.
And then there's also the Goblin Horde here, who's pretty cool. But again, it's lose 3 HP and destroy the top 3 cards of the blue treasure deck.
I mean, I kind of think that they should scale.
I know what King Loghan does.
Don't say.
Spoiler ban.
Don't say. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they
It's
don't
energy
scale.
related.
I'm kind of surprised they don't scale, considering by the time you get to the second world, you're probably very powerful. So you'd think like double all of the negatives from them or something.
But
I want to know.
You're like, don't spoil it. But I want to know.
I mean, but presumably, once you've defeated him, then the game will come to an end, and you'll get your exciting story conclusion, which we won't go through here because we want to maintain that for you guys to be surprised by.
There's only so much we can do for you guys. Come on.
I like what's going on here. I like that we travel as a group and sort of explore as a group. I know that there are supposed to be closed doors on these boards that are not yet in the game, and that does make me wonder if the board felt a little bit too open because we were sort of just wandering a bit aimlessly without any real reason to go to specific rooms.
Yeah, it was more about like, oh, there's a green one here, there's a green one here, there's a green one here. Okay, blue ones. Let's do blue ones now.
Yeah, we feel
like
we're ready for blue ones. I didn't feel like when we jumped up to the red either that there was a huge hike in difficulty.
It seemed like there was, but it just seemed like we were too good at that point. It felt like while we were still on green, we became capable of taking on everything.
To be honest, I kind of agree, because the first time we hit that blue, we very nearly went, oh crap, we're going to die.
Yeah.
It's true. When we first saw the butlers, we were like, holy shit.
Yeah. But then...
But then none of the butlers,
can you imagine what his soldiers are like?
they never actually got the opportunity to hit us.
Yeah.
We made sure of that.
Yeah.
Because
But that was a use for energy. We could spend our energy to reduce their damage.
That's true,
Yeah.
So even if the 6 points had come through, we could have just dropped 6 energy and taken nothing.
Well, I don't think we had the energy at that point.
Well, not the first time we saw them, though.
Yeah, but that the thing after that, that's where you're going, 6 energy to negate 1 bit of damage. So them doing, what did they do, 6 damage?
Yep.
So that's 60 energy to negate their attack.
No, was it 10 energy for 1 bit?
Or like one of
I thought it was 1 energy for 1 bit.
But that's the thing, hang on, I've got them here. It's the fact of that is a devastating amount of power in terms of trying to negate it. Where did all these bosses go?
No, we've lost the butlers, you guys. It's all over.
I didn't get given the butlers.
Literally killed all the butlers.
Die, butlers, die.
You are our least favourite.
The
Here's one.
How the hell did I miss that?
Pay 6. Okay, it's 6 for 1. So to reduce everything would have been 36.
Yeah, that's still a lot of energy to
But
lose.
I had 89.
No, but the first time we've played against them, I think we had like 15 between us.
It's all about the Spectre merchants.
Yeah, losing 5 energy and health.
I just love this.
Oh, 3 energy.
Well, and
Look
I was going
deeply
to say,
into my eyes.
the game is very, like, going back to the sort of the topic of the story and the theme, the game, like, the event cards, I loved the event cards. I appreciate that they are sort of quite a simple choose your own adventure mechanic. I like this twist on it where we all get to pick an option and the option happens multiple times. That's kind of cool. But what I liked was just the weirdness of them.
Yeah.
Like the weirdness of the scenarios. Like the
Do what
princess
you must, human.
with the dolls.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was, why did you
And-
grab their hands?
Yeah, why did we want to dance with the dolls?
Creepy dolls, you never.
I thought it would placate her. I thought she'd be like, "Oh, they love the dolls. They're my friends."
It just
I've-
seemed like such a weird option that it would have worked.
I've just seen too many
Yeah.
horror movies. I was expecting you two to be turned into dolls.
And I feel like these events have kind of what they capture, and I'm sure this is probably based on some of the designer's actual role-playing experiences, but I feel what they really capture is sort of the weirdness of playing D&D with real people or RPGs with real people. Because when you've got a lot of really contrived sort of story events in games like this, then the choices are obviously sort of can quite obviously be written by very logical game designers designing a game.
Yeah.
But if they're based on sort of real RPG moments you had with real people tend to do sort of off the wall crazy things that you just can't expect. And I feel like this captured those
Like a force field.
quite effectively. Yeah, like because you don't know what the DM's going to pull either in a real RPG sort of game.
You're under arrest.
But the flip side of that is sometimes it meant that the options were just like, what do I go with here? Where are my clues sort of leading me? I didn't have any problem. I actually thought that the event cards, I didn't have any problem with any of them. I really enjoyed them all.
I mean, to be honest, even when they had bad consequences, it wasn't game breaking. It wasn't like, oh crap, we basically.
But I wonder if it would become more. I wonder if maybe some of the resources in the game were more balanced, if that wouldn't become more frustrating.
Possibly.
You know,
But at the same time, if they were more balanced, then getting things like, oh, we got 1 energy. You remember when some of the rewards was like 1 energy? Didn't mean anything.
Didn't mean anything.
But if it was more balanced, then it would be like, oh, cool.
We got an energy. Yeah.
It would have,
Yeah.
it goes both ways.
To be honest, I was surprised how quickly the clarity kept going up and down. That thing was jumping around.
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
We never went below 5.
the clarity
Yeah, we did. We
and
went to 4.
the clarity and the
Yeah, and then we had the one with
health
the 2
was well
threes.
balanced. Just as they were well balanced, but yeah, it's just that energy.
So it was just the energy spheres?
I feel like from a resource perspective, it was just the energy spheres and maybe just the like all the cards in the decks. Like it's cool that they've gone through the effort to make like so many different like cards and abilities, which is all really exciting. But some of them just feel a bit pointless. Like there's too many like destroy this to do that kind of card.
I think the idea
Rather
behind
than-
that was to make it so that they could put something really, really cool in that you can't count on. Like the time spark, I kept for the entire game because I was like, we're really going to need this at some point. And in all honesty, by the time I could afford to pay for the energy costs for it, we didn't need it because we could just throw enough weight of attacks on stuff.
True.
Yeah, one of the things that was interesting to me was even though the combat deck didn't change, we did seem to scale up in power.
Yeah. Well, it's because of our abilities and stuff, and us learning. Because once you learn how, because this is sort of a fixed thing. Once you learn how it works, you kind of know
Yeah.
exactly what to do every turn. And what I was saying with these is, I think this would have been. I would have actually preferred if there were like a tenth of this size of a deck with less duplicates of the same cards, because we were just pulling out these spy drones, and like when you see the first one, you're like, okay, cool, that's cool. But then we all had the
It was more version 1, 2.
Yeah.
No, I have the army of spy drones. The spy drones are my spy friends.
Hey, dude, I see your drones, and I raise you 2 hammers.
Drones.
Still don't know where that third one was.
Potions.
Oh, it was actually it was the second card from. You know when I showed you that bottom card, it was there.
And that is a cool thing. You can gain a certain set of items and then destroy them to make a quest item.
I feel like every item should have had that. Like that would have been awesome. Like if every item would belong to a particular set, so there's a sort of set building mini game at the same time. That would have been
You
nice.
found the golden grasshopper. Can you find the golden cockroach and the golden mayfly?
And then have the golden insect swarm.
Yeah.
Go, my pretties.
It'd have been funny if there was, because I don't feel like there was very many.
Weak to the lizard's enemy.
But I kind of think, you know, where it's got the weakness of like melee or ranged. I think it would almost be a bit funner if there was like if there were more combinations.
Yeah.
There's some enemies there's like weakness. There's combined item. There's just crap.
Yeah. That would have made more sense if the enemies were a bit tougher as well. That would have been good. If the enemies were tougher and there were a few more like Achilles heels, like you were saying.
I would have liked as well, like there is a lot of sort of variety or whatever going on in the treasure cards, but I would have probably liked to see a bit more variety. I would have liked to see a bit more variety.
I was about to call you Scooby Doo then.
But in the monster decks.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 4 monster types. Now, I'm confident that is going to
go up.
Massively expand.
Yeah, massively expand.
I'm interested to see how they change the combat decks, because this is like the core mechanic of your resolution of doing anything. It just felt like every time we did it, it was like we were doing the same things. Like every time, right? Who has an aid? Who has the charge support? It'd be cool if like the medic had aids, and then like someone else had charge supports, even, and then it became a bit more like role based.
Aid cards, you mean?
Yeah.
What did I say?
The medic had aids.
You got it. Yeah, I grinned and I looked at Michael like, please tell me you got it. I don't want to be a horrible person. And then I saw the corner of his mouth just go.
So it would, but I get exactly what you mean. It feels like these decks we've got, which are all the same, are there to sort of function as exhibiting the core mechanic in this prototype.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see a more diverse set of decks for the characters in the final product.
Yeah.
Because as a scout, with this extra ability I can do in the refresh room, in the refresh phase, it didn't really fit. Otherwise, I just felt the exact same as you two.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, I think Ben was right when he said it's a bit strange that there's only one ability to differentiate everything, regardless of.
Well, there are these combat abilities which we didn't use at all.
But they're all the same.
We didn't need them.
Yeah, we didn't need them,
and they're all the same.
And it's very but what I mean is maybe
maybe they'll change.
Maybe they'll change.
No, but I mean the thing is this combat ability is the same as my actual ability. It's like draw 1 combat card. Well, I'll give you initiative, and we can all do it.
Oh yeah.
But I know that you guys
there's
were
never a reason I
also.
want to do both.
So there is also this mechanic where you can get enemies on top of these decks, and then the next time you would fight enemies, they come and join in as well.
That's cool, but there needs to be more variable.
Well, they only come out if you trigger the alarm during a sneak.
Okay.
And so we didn't ever do that.
Oh yeah,
because we had the option to pay. Now in the rules version that I had, it states you can spend 4 after seeing your failure.
Yeah.
On the cards here, it says that you can pay 4 beforehand.
Yeah.
I think that obviously we had perfect information to go on, but even given how many energy spheres we had, I don't think that really made a huge difference to our game.
Yeah. If the energy was more balanced, though, I think it would have.
It would have made, and it would have made a very interesting decision. I think I prefer the version where you would have to choose to use it first, rather than as a backup if you messed up.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it makes it a more interesting sort of dilemma. Whereas if you know you failed and then you can just pay 4 as a backup anyway, it doesn't. There's no interesting choice there. You would always try.
It's a push your luck. It's a push your luck if you do it before, but if you do it afterwards, it's like
it cost you this.
Yeah, you're like deciding: do I want to fight an enemy or save or pay?
No, I get that.
Energy.
I mean,
both are good decisions, but
Yeah.
it should have been at a point where the cost was actually like,
Meaningful.
a meaningful cost.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that there is, and I would like to see maybe the sneak, I don't know, offering up a bit more information. But overall, like, there's a lot about this I really liked. I like this. I do like that we move as a group, and we sort of make all these decisions as a group. And I quite like the idea that we're not necessarily all fully cooperating all of the time, but we don't have the option to just be like, well, I'm going to throw the game or go off and do my own thing or whatever.
I think enemies should have more health. Just all of it.
Enemies should have more health.
In all fairness, I think there should be a scaling mechanic with them. So starting off, they were quite powerful and
It was
a bit
good.
terrifying.
The beginning was
but
good.
There was no scale. Like we just got more powerful
Yeah.
and they didn't, and I think that's what's missing. If there was because it even says on the encounter cards where it's got if you've got a party of this size, it's this many. If you're above that, this many. If these guys had more than one profile, just to say, do you have this stat? So
Yeah, like
Or how many rooms are you from the entrance? Or
yeah,
something.
or how many rooms have you cleared? How many items do you have? How much energy do you have?
Yeah.
Or even just like a combination. It's like, if you're above this limit, use the second profile. These are more improved mooks.
I think as well, part of the doing that kind of scale, or you can apply it to the players. If you make sure that all the green cards
Yeah.
maximum had a one fist,
Yeah.
but with abilities, then it means that you can only play 1 plus combat cards in a fight, which would have made the combat at the beginning, kept it interesting, kept it difficult whilst bringing in the interesting sort of abilities in the cards.
To be honest, the green card that I had from the start was that one. And the only reason I didn't replace it was because Mike had the next one up. The butterfly knife I got lucky that was the blue.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
can't
we
even
got some,
quite
but
remember
I feel like we snuck into a blue room or something.
No, that was the butler room, and it was just like, oh crap.
Uh,
We got lucky there.
But I also got a blue treasure card. Oh, that's a red.
It's a red one.
But I also got a blue treasure card here really
Yeah,
early
which was
on
the
as
other
well.
one. That's because
the
that's
spiky whip.
the one.
But
you
then this
got.
whip here is a green one, and that's 2.
Yeah, but it has no ability.
Yeah, but I mean, it's better to just play treasure and kill people.
I get your point.
Play combat cards.
I mean, they clearly have tried to scale the items, but I think the fact that I had 2 red items that a red and a green item, I never felt the need to use this one, and I got this one first. Certainly didn't feel the need to equip it.
Yeah, I think being able to be in like a green room and then just
Yeah.
take a blue card, or being in a blue room and taking a red card for pretty much no consequence.
Obviously not
Way
on
too
this
powerful.
board, but
Yeah.
No, but I mean that's the thing. Like this with the energy thing, this has a pay 4 energy just to use it, which makes sense because then that's countering all of my energy gain.
Yeah.
So if I'm paying 4 energy to use that at all,
At the beginning of the game, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it.
no, and then even the early one is pay 4 energy, and I think that's the thing is I never felt the need to equip it, and because of that, if I'd have had say that one instead, anytime I want to attack with this, I've got to just pay energy, so I don't get those 5 attacks unless I pay 4 energy every combat turn, which would have massively eaten into my energy.
For sure.
So I think that's possibly more of a cost to it. So some of the better weapons of each tier have something like that, where you're paying more resources to use it to encourage you to skip to the next level. And yes, it may not be as good, but you're saving on resources to build back up again.
For sure.
And there is obviously this effect that isn't available in this prototype where these items and these monsters change as you move through time periods. So that is a thing that happens. I did feel like when we finished the first time period, we were very, very strong against that final boss. We defeated him and his 2 minions in one round. And that was something else that was sort of interesting, that the monsters that come out were based on the room you were in. I did feel like maybe it should say, in order to draw, rather than just every card in the middle of the story deck being like, have 2 random events. Instead it should be like, have a random event, and then if you want to encounter this boss or have this boss event, go to a red room. Because we're probably going to have 1 or 2 events on our way there anyway.
Yeah.
So that sort of accomplishes the same thing, but means that we're in the correct kind of room to encounter that boss. It means you can balance it more effectively, because maybe we didn't do this as much, although I think we did a bit of it without being fully conscious of the effect, but if I was a super gamey gamer type, I would just go back to the green room every time I got a boss.
Maybe it's some of the
Which isn't really in the spirit of the game.
Instead of like trying to like do encounters, they could say, well, instead of just having encounters, try and find a blue utility item to advance or like look for a thing.
I mean, the only thing for that is that the blue deck of treasure is really deep, so you could spend hours.
Yeah, but I mean, they're, like every other card is utility. Like that's utility.
Oh, you mean
that's
okay?
utility. I mean,
sorry,
by keyword, keyword, not by
Right.
like the type, the actual card.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I thought you meant it would be a utility card.
Yeah, don't look.
Yeah,
at
that would
that
take
particular
forever.
card. Yeah.
Yeah.
The I didn't feel like, I mean, Ollie and I were both dual wielding weapons. You obviously had a hand weapon and a shield. The shield is designed
Captain
to
America.
deflect the priority 3 cards, which are the cards that come out the combat deck that represent the counterattacks or parries of your enemies as you have been fighting them, and you're forced to play all these priority 3 cards and potentially take damage. But we managed to
Negate a lot.
negate a lot of them.
Which I mean, I liked the fact that they were there, because it's like in very few games is there a consequence of you fighting, regardless if you win or lose. So we won. Look, the couple of the earlier matches we were playing, we won, and we were like, oh crap, we've taken damage just from being in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a good idea, because it encourages you to get the fight over quickly, so you're not drawing more of them, and it also introduces the risk of, do you want an extra card? I really don't know, because I mean, I had three cards in my hand, a miss and a thing I couldn't use. It's like, I've got junk, I need to get rid of something and draw a new card. But I could have done, at one point, 7 damage to us just from being whacked in the face. If I couldn't have got rid of them, that would have taken us to less than half health at the point we were at. That was terrifying me. I was like, guys, I need aid. I need it right now. And then, luckily, I got the treasure, which allowed me to discard one of them.
Yeah.
But even then, I was petrified.
If you want AIDS, just talk to the medic.
I am not setting foot into that joke.
Oh, that no.
But I just wanted to sort of summarize that point by saying that we were dual wielding weapons. We didn't have any shields to mitigate the priority 3 cards, but it still didn't seem to be that big of a deal.
No, because I got incredibly lucky with some of those hands. I had one hand where I had.
But this ability
six
to discard a
hits.
card and draw a card is pretty powerful.
You got to be able to draw it. I just had to discard it.
No, the spiked whip is like discard a card and draw a card.
Oh right. My
I think Ben had that too.
Yeah.
You pay 3
I had
energy to discard a card and draw a card.
I had paid 2 energy to
something
discard.
similar. It's gone.
Where is it? Oh, there. I just had pay 2 energy to discard a card.
So I was talking to Paul when he was demoing this game for me, and he did have loads of very exciting ideas. He could confirm that there was some really cool things in the pipeline. I hope a lot of those will be displayed on the Kickstarter page. They'll be made available perhaps as stretch goals. I can't say for certain because I don't know, but there's enough here that I'm interested in keeping an eye on this, and I'm excited to see what they do with the campaign itself and what they put out and offer. I'm very excited to see the system he's got for the board, for the cards changing with the boards as we travel through time as well. So with that, we're going to be leaving Castle Von Loghan for the time being. But who knows what the future holds? Well, the Carsec team do, but we don't. So we'll just have to wait with you guys and find out.
Sounds good.
So thank you very much for coming on this journey with us, and we'll be back tomorrow for a completely different journey.
He's locking us back in the dungeon. Send help!
You'll never find me.
Can you put a Google map pin on your place?
No! Don't Google me.
Help.